Republicans have said in setting us apart as different than the Democrats, we've said, we say Democrats are just wrong. They think we're evil. I'm going to make the case Democrats were projecting on us that we were evil because they actually intended to do evil and call it good. They call it good. I'm going to make my case. Don't deny me yet. Just give me a shot to make my case. Welcome to Doug in Exile. Skin cancer almost gone. Looking the surgery, huge success. My face is almost back to, I'd say I'm a good solid 5. Okay, let's get to, this is the most shocking thing you're going to see today, guys. You tell me in the chat below if you see something worse than this. It's that the Democrats were part of human trafficking. They've been lying to you through media, and they're trying to kill Elon Musk. And worse than that, they're not trying to help kids they don't want RFK Jr. to make your kids healthy. I don't know why. I can't explain the methods behind it. Fine. Maybe they're evil. Maybe they're joking. Maybe they're just power hungry. I don't give them a pass. You know who I don't give a pass? Your Democrat friends who voted for Democrats and helped them cover all this up. We're going to go into this in a minute. This is from a video is J.J. Carroll, a retired U.S. Border Patrol Deputy Patrol Agent in charge. The speech was given during a hearing just this May 7th, that's last week in 2025, and I'll bet you missed it, before the House Committee on Homeland Security, specifically the Subcommittee on Border Security Patrol. This is his testimony. This is going to probably depress and shock you, but we need to know. I need you to know what Democrats advocate for when your friends and your pastor and your sister-in-law and your buddies say they could not vote for Trump. Christians like David French, Phil Vischer, the creator of VeggieTales, these people said they could not stand voting for Trump. It's because they couldn't stand the only guy who could stop 300,000 children being sold into trafficking in America. They would not support it. They're evil.
I state without reservation that the United States federal government is the world's largest child trafficking organization in modern history.
How dare you say that about the United States? The problem is it's true under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, Alejandro Mayorkas, every Hollywood celebrity that voted for them, Bill Gates, every Democrat fundraiser, Mark Cuban, name the names of every Democrat voter. They lied about Trump, saying he was bad, and then they lied about Biden, saying he was good, and supported and covered up the Border Patrol. Everyone at CNN, everyone at MSNBC, they all are complicit in trafficking 300,000 children.
The probability that thousands of these UACs are being at this very moment is 100%.
100%. That's by your liberal pastor, your liberal aunt, your liberal cousin, a majority of school teachers, a majority of university professors, a majority of artists. Those are my people. A majority of artists, my people, helped contribute to that 100% chance statistic of helping children being attacked. These are feminists. 100% of the feminists, Yeah, I'm on a tear today. I'm angry because they're liars.
I appreciate the opportunity to speak about the evil of child trafficking caused by the open border policies under President Joe Biden and his administration. I served in the United States Border Patrol.
Evil. He calls it evil. This is a Border Patrol agent. Doesn't work there anymore. All these guys got walked out of their job under Alejandro Mayorkas when they would raise enough concerns because they did not go along with the trafficking.
For 24 years until I retired as a Deputy Patrol Agent in charge in San Diego sector. I worked under 5 presidential administrations, and only one president secured the border, President Donald Trump. Border Patrol agents went from working and being supported by the greatest border president in American history to the worst, President Joe Biden.
Boom.
My last year in the Border Patrol was Joe Biden's first year in office. On his first day in office, I watched in disbelief as 94 executive orders cascaded down from Washington, D.C., obliterating every immigration policy that had been provided the most secure border in America's history. Border Patrol agents were forced to carry out unconstitutional orders that violated every law in the Immigration Nationality Act. President Biden, through Department of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, created policy out of thin air, ignored federal immigration law, and facilitated the largest mass invasion into America that the world has ever seen. The United States of America will have spent hundreds of billions of dollars in 4 years to fund the needs of over 50 million illegal aliens that populate our nation.
Remember that when the Democrats complain about DOJ making cuts, they're willing to waste $50 billion on illegals that are here. More than. They don't care. They don't care. You know what they care about? They have been programmed by dumb people to act dumb and hate Trump. They think Trump and Elon Musk are Adolf Hitler. They think they're worse than the devil. Of course, they don't believe in the devil because it's an atheistic worldview. They believe that Trump is evil, and Trump is the only one, according to this guy, in 25 years of border security to end he couldn't do anything about the 300,000 children that were ushered in here and formally lost by Biden on purpose into trafficking. But Trump stopped it for the next 300,000. Remember, all the Democrats are going to come out and go, you don't care about Gomez and Pepito. You hate Pepito. And Pepito is in some meat locker somewhere in America in the underground because of your Democrat pastor, your Democrat wife, your Democrat son, your Democrat mother. Nice people. The nicest Democrat artist, animator, computer programmer, person in video games. They would not vote for the only man to stop this because they hate his orange skin color more than they hate trafficking in America. Pepito in a meat locker somewhere in a basement at someone's prison. Democrat Party. Never put an X next to A. Let me know in the chat.
Between 1 in 6 and 1 in 7 residents in America is an illegal alien. America has suffered the greatest demographic shift in modern history. I state with complete certainty that Biden, Harris, and Mayorkas intentionally, strategically, and purposely weaponized illegal immigration and used it as a tool to fundamentally transform America. Inside this invasion, the unspoken evil of child trafficking, and more specifically, child trafficking, has flourished. At the end of this current administration, the number of children trafficked will have grown to over 5.
Democrats did it. Teachers unions did it. Every person in your theater group did it.
550,000 unaccompanied alien children known as UACs. This horrific number of children will have been arrested, released into America, and then lost. To put this into context, during President Trump's last year in office, Customs and Border Protection arrested 30,557 UACs who were accounted for and not lost. Conversely, in the first year of Biden,
and AOC was complaining that they were kept in cages instead of released to traffickers. Remember AOC crying outside of those cages.
Biden's presidency, CBP arrested 147,975 UACs, most of which are unaccompanied for and lost. In 2023, Congressional Hearings, Health and Human Services, Javier Becerra, and Director of Office of Refugee Resettlement, Robin Marcos, forced to admit that their agency had no contact with over 85,000 UACs. They were lost. What did DHS, HHS, and ORR do to correct this humanitarian disaster? Nothing. In fact, all three agencies created further policies and procedures to increase the efficiency of moving UACs from the border to the interior of the United States to unknown and unvetted sponsors. Unaccompanied alien children were being handed off to total strangers. Then they disappeared into the darkness of labor and sex trafficking. In fact, a year later, in August of 2024, the Inspector General, with oversight over DHS, issued a report stating the number lost UACs was not 85,000. It was over 320,000.
Over 320,000 because they did nothing. We warned them at 85,000. Your MAGA friends, the people they say are white supremacists who hate women, who are anti-women and anti-immigration and hate immigrants, and they're just racist. That's what they call us, racists. That we're so racist that we warned them when there were 85,000 children lost, and they did nothing. They increased it so that they could lose 300,000 illegal children. The people that call you names are evil. The people that call you names do not care. Remember, they only call you names to hide the guilt that when they call you a racist, it's because they're really a racist. When they call you evil, it's because they are really evil. The things they accused of Trump of, they are far more guilty of. This is man's oldest gig. You accuse the other person of what you're doing. Here's another one from RFK Jr. where a Democrat keeps they just want to destroy RFK Jr. because he's a Trump pick. not because he wants to help make American children healthy.
Oh, anybody thinks that we did old standard medicine in this country from these institutions, look at our children. They're the sickest children in the world. Laura, you say that, Congressman DeLauro, you say that you've worked for 20 years on getting food dye out. Give me credit. I got it out in 100 days. All right. So,
all right. Thank you. She reluctantly gives him credit. For 25 years, the Democrats tried getting food dyes out. RFK Jr. does it in 100 days, and they're still trying to destroy his career because they do not care about children. They care about the keeping power. These Democrats do not care about your children or food dyes or the environment or the temperature of the earth. They don't care about the welfare of blacks. They don't care about how happy or beneficial or how gays are treated. Women are treated. They don't care. They don't care. In fact, they hate them if they disagree. RFK Jr. he ran as a Democrat. They're against him now. They hate him. He's more effective than he ever was as a Democrat, working for Trump, implementing real science, and he ended food dyes. And they're like, they hold their nose and go, yeah, you did that. But, I got to still try and destroy your career because you're last week you were great. You were the golden one. And now you're the Antichrist. Now you're evil.
Work together and do something that we all believe in, which is have healthy kids in our country, for God's sake. There's no such thing as Republican children or Democratic children. There's just kids, and we should all be concerned with them.
And that's not true for Democrats. He said that there's no such thing as Republican children and Democrat children. To Democrats, there's only such a thing as a Republican child who's evil and a Democrat child who's good. There's only such a thing as a Republican Health and Human Services. When RFK Jr. was a Democrat and couldn't get food dyes out of food, he was good, and now removes dyes from food, which the Democrat even agrees with, and he's evil because he's working for Trump, a Republican, who also used to be a Democrat, and Elon Musk, who used to be a Democrat, and Tulsi Gabbard, who ran for president for Democrat, Trump. Now they're all evil. They hate you and your children. Here's The Media by Victor Davis Hanson. This is
It's gotten so outrageous, it's almost incomprehensible, unfathomable. Elon Musk, according to the Media Research Center, has had 96% unfavorable coverage in our American media. What did he do that was so wrong? He rescued astronauts who were stranded in space. Tesla has revolutionized the electric vehicle industry. If you look at the media coverage of Abrego Garcia, the deported illegal alien who beat his spouse, this was a horrible person, but he is a sympathetic character in the media's eyes, and the greatest Renaissance man of the 21st century is a villain. It makes no sense. The media, in other words, has no credibility. It has no ethics. It has no moral compass. It's just an extension of the progressive project, and it makes the necessary adjustments with what it calls the truth, depending on the political utility to the left in general and the Democratic Party in particular.
Well, he said that a lot better than I could. And I'm sorry, but there's no other word to call that. They're not lost. Democrats don't do this in innocence. We've warned them over and over again. They do it deliberately because it is an immoral choice. They don't have to do this. You're not a victim. You're not a slave. You could choose different. You choose to do this, and I condemn you. And that's why I'm a happy patriot, and you're a miserable progressive. I'm Doug in Exile.